Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and welcome to this first ever Back to the Future themed live stream, which is, I'm planning to do this as a monthly series where once a month I'm going to have my co-host Jason from Jason the Old Millennial join me with guests, and we're going to talk about a different topic focused on the Back to the Future trilogy / universe. So yeah, firstly, joined by my co-host Jason. So yeah, Jason, how are you?
I'm doing well. Just got done working the night shift, and so I'm a little tired, but I'm here.
Yeah, sweet man. And I know you love the trilogy as well, so I knew I had to get you on for this live stream series.
Oh,
But the guest that we've got today, firstly, is from my friend Pete, who I've met in person a couple of times now. So yeah, Pete, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good to see you, Mike. Nice to meet you, Reviews, and Jason as well.
Yeah, pleasure to have you, man. And I'm looking forward to hearing your take when we talk about the movie. And finally, a guy who I've been trying to get on live streams for a good while now, and that's our friend Q. So hey, Q, how are you?
Oh, what up, man? What up, Mike? Happy New Year! Happy New Year to everybody. Thanks for I finally was able to get on a live stream, so like I'm ecstatic, ready to roll.
Right. Well, yeah. So the reason why I chose Pete and Q to join me and Jason is because I know these two guys are nuts on Back to the Future, like myself. I mean, as you can see, like Pete's background right now, it's just screaming Back to the Future. Yeah, and just a bit, dude. And I know Q has one of the original quad posters from the movie. Which is insane. I've never seen one in person ever. I've seen a photo what Q showed me, but that was it.
Yeah. It's really nice too. Like you see the duplicates, they got like more color. This one's more kind of faded. It just looks beautiful. It's like I think it is my favorite poster of all time. Before I even had the poster, but like when you go look at it, it's like, oh, that's the real 1985 original release poster. Like it's crazy every time I look at it. And I only got it for I think $150. The lady sold it for in an antique shop because she was like getting out of the business and it was on Facebook Marketplace. I was like, damn, I would sure like to have that, but I didn't have the money at the time. So my wife went down there and picked it up for my birthday, and I was like, what? You know what this is? Do you know what this is? Holy Gorilla posters right here. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can imagine when you got that, you were like, wow, this is the holy grail, you know?
Yeah. That's why I was like, I had to make sure it was real though, because it's a lot of duplicates and stuff like that. So I did my research online, and some numbers at the bottom that you can tell exactly what print it is, and it's one of the original prints. So I was like, wow. I'll keep that up, pass it down to my children after, because I'm never selling.
But yeah, don't blame you. I mean, do you know how many original prints were made?
I don't know offhand. I forgot what number mine. It's like 0001 something out of however many they made. I'm not 100% sure. But there's I think it's a website you can try to find them. Like to track down the Back to the Future posters. There's still some out there. They're pricey though. I think like $2,000, something like that, $2,000 to $6,000 or something crazy.
So when you say these are original posters, are these ones that were like in the movie theaters or just made for a specific thing for the preview or something like that?
I think this was the original one that was in the theater. Yep. Wow. The original one from 1985. Just kind of lucked up on that one.
Is it like in a frame or?
Yeah, it's in a frame in the other room. I should bring it in here, take it off the wall, but yeah, it's in a frame in the other room. It stayed in the frame because the lady had it in a like you said, he had an antique shop, so it was already framed, and I'm not taking it out because I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to
damage it or whatever. Yeah. So I just leave it be in this little blue frame in the other room.
Right. Yeah, dude. If I was you, like same thing, I would be keeping it in the frame as well. So don't blame you. So kind of just to give you guys a bit of an idea of what this stream's going to be about today, we're going to be talking about the first movie in the Back to the Future trilogy, which is just simply titled Back to the Future. So before we kind of kick into things, just a couple of little known facts and details for you guys if you're not aware. This movie was directed by Robert Zemeckis, produced by Bob Gale, with executive producing of Steven Spielberg. And the budget of this movie at the time was $19 million, and it went on to gross $388.8 million, which I think even at the time they were surprised of how well this movie was going to do. They thought this was going to possibly be a flop. And I think we all know by now as well that Michael J. Fox was the original choice, but he didn't originally get the role. That went to a guy called Eric Stoltz. So have any of you guys seen like the Stoltz footage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to release the Stoltz cut.
Yeah.
I wish, but I think Bob Gale went on record though, and I'm not sure if this was actually at Southampton, Pete. When we went to
he did. He said it at Southampton. He said when me and Mike were at Southampton Comic Con, and he did like the panel thing. He said, "There's, Eric Stoltz is a great actor. He's got a great career. You wouldn't want to do something that would possibly ruin another man's career." That's fair enough.
Which is fair. Yeah, I would still love to see a Stoltz cut though, because they got like 6 weeks into filming with him, I think.
Yeah. What was an interesting fact on the Stoltz cut is I've mentioned to yourself, Mike, I don't know if Jason or Q have ever watched it, but there's a series on Apple TV called, oh my God, what's it called? For All Mankind. And it's a take on what would have happened had the Russians landed on the moon first. But because that happens in 1969, everything else in the future, at the beginning, it's every 10 years, and they show you what's happened in between. So, for instance, when Margaret Thatcher had the bomb attack, she dies rather than survived like she did in the real world. And apparently they went to the Back to the Future team and said, we'd like to put it at the beginning that Eric Stoltz played Marty McFly rather than Michael J. Fox, and they wouldn't allow it.
Oh,
wow.
So that's just a useless fact, but quite funny.
That's cool. I did not know about that at all.
Yeah, it's only a recent series on Apple TV. It's very good. So, but we're talking about Back to the Future. So,
Right. Yeah, but I mean, I think a very important thing of that, Pete, though, is Eric Stoltz, right? Because we've seen footage of him, and we've seen like these deleted scenes and clips and stuff we've had. I'm going to go around each of you. I'm going to ask you guys this question. I'm going to start with Q. If Michael J. Fox was unavailable for Back to the Future, right, and 6 weeks down the line, they thought, right, we're going to have to fire this guy, but Michael J. Fox is not available, so we're going to have to keep this guy. Do you think Back to the Future would have been a hit?
I think it would have been successful. I think Michael J. Fox is a big driving force of that movie. Just his charisma and then his likability, I think, really would have sold the movie. I don't think it'd have been as big as it was without Michael J. Fox, even though that could have catapulted Eric to superstar status. But as I looked at those dailies when I was looking at Eric, he just wasn't quite working. I don't know what it was. I don't know what type of magic Michael J. Fox had at that time. He was just that dude at that time in '85 to put him in the movie. So I think, that's why it worked so well. A large part of because of Michael J. Fox and, of course, the supporting cast.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great take on it. And like in those like early cuts as well. Like I think even Bob Gale and the actors as part of the movie have even said they were going for like this comedy dialogue and this kind of like lightheartedness as such. And Eric Stoltz was taking this as like a serious like drama piece. And there was frustrations on the set. Everyone thought that they couldn't chill out. Everyone was on edge because of this guy. And I mean, it would have been interesting to kind of be at Comic-Cons and everyone being like, oh yeah, cast reunion, and everyone's like, oh, not this guy again. We got rid of him off the set.
Yeah.
What about you, Jason? Do you think it would have worked if Eric Stoltz was the lead?
Yeah, that's a good question. I never thought of it. Like you said, I think it would still has such a great story that story still works really well. I think what you're missing is the comedy, like you said. Maybe it wouldn't be as funny, and I guess that definitely would hurt the movie. I don't know how badly, because I think Back to the Future is a really funny movie. I always say, well, how do you categorize Back to the Future? You might say it's a sci-fi movie. I've heard people say it's an action adventure, and I almost say it's a comedy in some ways because I laughed so much during the movie. And I wonder how much of that is the chemistry between Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. And yeah, maybe you missed some of that with Eric Stoltz. Maybe you don't get that good chemistry between the two characters. Yeah, maybe it's not as successful, but I don't know. That's hard to say because it's still such a good story.
Right. Yeah. And I think on the line, I think it's one of those where maybe the story would, still elevate the movie over performance.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of movies where we still like them, but we think maybe that person wasn't the correct fit for that role, but it's still like underlying as a likable story there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Is it Pete? What do you think?
I think it would have been a successful movie at the time. I don't know whether they would have had a 2 and a 3. And I don't think the longevity of it would have lasted like it has today, nearly 40 years later. It's got such a massive fan base. Because when you go to these Comic-Cons like we did, you see these different films. There's always Back to the Future at a Comic-Con, but you don't always see, like, say, a Goonies, or you don't always see certain other films. Like, you don't see Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something like that at every Comic-Con, but you always see Back to the Future. I don't think it would have had the longevity that it's had. I think Michael J. Fox certainly made that happen with his acting and the way he performed.
Right, yeah, and you're right, yeah. So I know there's like a couple of Comic-Cons coming up this year in the UK at least, and I think in America it's been announced as well. Like I think definitely one in America is like Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, and Tom Wilson, if I'm not mistaken. It's like a reunion. And even in the UK, we've got Leah Thompson coming here in March. So, like Pete, you're saying, Pete, still Comic-Con appearances nearly 40 years later.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about the movie, Yeah. So, a quick question for you guys. I'm going to start with Jason this time. I'd like to hear from kind of each of you respectively. Like, when was the first time you saw the movie?
Yeah, I know we talked about this before on my channel. Like, I can't say I remember exactly when I saw it. I'm guessing I was like 10 years old or something because I was 2 years old when it came out in 1985. So I was obviously too young to watch it in the theaters, though I was alive. But I have a hard time remembering. I just know it's one of those movies that I feel like it's been in my life my whole life. It's one of those movies like Star Wars. I don't remember when I saw it. It was always there. There's certain movies like that, and I think Back to the Future was one of those. I just remember from a young age. I must have saw it on a VHS tape or something like that my parents had, or a lot of times my parents would tape movies off of TV on blank VHS tapes. And so I think I had a lot of those on the blank VHS tapes, and I must have came across it or saw on TV. And, from a young age, I don't think I quite understood all the nuances of the movie, but still it's such an enjoyable movie because of there's plenty of action sequences with I think as a kid, I think my favorite part was the skateboard part. I thought that was so cool when he's being chased by Biff and the gang. And he's on that skateboard. That's probably always my favorite part as a kid. I love that kind of stuff, and the car chases maybe, and the dance at the end. I think that's when I first, still definitely enjoyed it when I first saw it as a kid. And then I think as I kept watching it, it just grew and grew, and I kind of, as a teenager, I think I really latched onto it.
Yeah. I remember you telling me this story as well when we did the live stream, and it's just like a really cool experience that you were like 2 years old at the time this came out. That's nuts. And Q, what about you? When was the first time you saw the movie?
So I guess in 1985 I was around 9 years old, and I remember my dad taking me to see it and my little brother at the Lincoln Park 8. So I seen it on the big screen for the first time.
Wow.
And I didn't know exactly what I was watching or what it was about, really. You know, like at that time, there was no internet. You just had to like, oh, look in the paper. It was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox with the thing. I had no idea what the movie was about. Like Back to
Wow.
the Future didn't really make any sense to me. Like, what do you mean Back to the Future? So I went there, you know, a blind eye, and at 9 years old, I understood the story perfectly. So when I seen the movie Magic, when they go into the 50s, like I had never seen nothing like that, you know, at this time, like
Right.
as far as time travel movies goes, like they're literally in the 50s. But like I don't know that much about the 50s, just watching like Leave It to Beaver and stuff like that. So when I see it in Technicolor, like wow, they're really here. This seems like really real. And of course the movie Magic. So I'll never forget that. And then after I seen that movie, all I wanted to do was be Michael J. Fox. I had, I begged my parents for, the vest, and try to get the shoes. And I took up skateboarding, had my little headphones everywhere. So that was like my favorite movie of all time. So that's why I remember seeing it there. And then, of course, when Blockbuster opened, I was the first kid trying to get a copy of Back to the Future, so I can, put it on VHS in my own special way. So yeah. That's the first time I remember seeing that. Yeah, in theaters. I actually seen it in theaters. Yeah.
Man, that'd be amazing.
Oh yeah,
man.
that's cool.
That's an experience in itself. Like
that's one of the main movies I remember watching in a theater as a young child was Back to the Future and Ghostbusters. I think Ghostbusters came out a year earlier or so. So those really made me fall in love with cinema, along when I was little was like E.T. or something like that, just seeing that movie Magic at that time was just incredible. And Back to the Future, of course, just elevated it to the next level. Like, wow, I want to do this.
and did you learn to skateboard?
Yeah, I did. I was pretty good.
Oh,
I was
wow.
pretty good. And I tried to hang on the back of the car like that, fell, I'm trying to scrape my whole side of my body up. That don't quite work like it does in the movies. but I tried it. Yeah. I was okay skateboarder for a little bit. Then the 90s came in with the Tony Hawk era, so I skated a little bit then. But since then, now I don't skate at all too much. So I probably fall right away. But at the time, it was dope to skateboard.
Wow.
And love Back to the Future.
Man, that's awesome. And the fact that you got to see it in the theater at that time it released, like. I can imagine that's like an experience in itself because
I'm just old.
Said, there was no internet. There was no. Not old, dude. You can see you saw that in the cinema. Like that's something I can't say. Like Jason can't say that. Pete, did you see this in the cinema?
No. Well, so I was 3, maybe 4 when Back to the Future came out. I think my brother went to see it. My brother was a lot older than me, and then. It wasn't until about 1990 when Back to the Future 3 came out on VHS at Blockbuster, our local store. My sister was looking after me from school, and she rented Back to the Future 1 and said, "Sit there and watch that." and I sat and watched it, and I went, "That's amazing. They went into the future. I wish I could see that." And she goes, "There's 2 more." And I was like. No, and she went, "I'll go down to Blockbusters and get them." And she rented the other 2, and I sat there in an afternoon and watched them, and that was it. I was hooked, absolutely hooked, and I wanted the hoverboard so bad. And I remember I went back to school, and I said, "Oh, I've watched Back to the Future." And they said, "Oh, yeah." And there was always the one kid at school that said, "Oh, yeah, I've got one of those hoverboards." And I was like, "Oh," and everybody's like, "Oh, wow." And he went, "Yeah, but I'm not allowed to bring it into school. My mum's told me I'm not allowed to because they weren't real." But he was telling a load of shit, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, can I just say, like, how much I miss Blockbuster?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Blockbuster. Yeah. Video stores in general. That was my happy place. Video stores. Yeah. Mama Pop video stores, Blockbuster. I was always there.
But is it just me, or did they have like a unique smell about them?
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, that plasticky. It smells like plastic new release.
Yeah.
I can smell new release. I love it.
I don't know if it's just me, right? But my local Blockbuster, when I used to go in, it used to always have like a weird temperature control when I went in. Like I would
Like
go
too
right
cold.
through the doors, and it'd be like a little bit warm, and I got a little bit further in the store, and it was freezing, and I was like, "How
Yeah.
is this right?"
That's true. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Oh
I
man,
remember that being cold.
so
I wonder-
so
And I remember. Oops, sorry.
man, yeah. So I never got like the Back to the Future on VHSs. I got them on the DVD first time I watched the movie.
Okay.
I've got the VHS collection at home, like sealed.
Yeah.
But I was just like,
definitely.
I can't bring to open it though, because apparently it goes for a lot of money now. I've heard.
Mm.
And I was
Only
like,
if you're Tom Wilson.
what's that?
That's only if you're Biff Tannen.
Yeah.
He sold his recently for thousands, didn't he?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I think he's been selling off some of his collector's items. I think.
Mhm.
Huh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, I don't know why, but obviously he must need the money, I guess. Because I know, I know he's on the website Cameo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And I don't know if it's because I think I heard through a grapevine. So I don't know how true this is, but I don't know if it's because his wife wasn't well or his partner.
Hmm.
So I think he was like selling some stuff to fund like medical bills and stuff.
Okay.
Oh man.
Again, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I think I heard anyway.
You need that almanac, you know. He had that almanac, you know. He'd be straight and just go back, play some bets, you know.
Oh man! Imagine we would literally have Biff Tower right now. You know, we'd have the motorcycles around everywhere. And there'd be no colourful towns.
Wasn't that Trump Tower?
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
You know that's what they were going for.
That's what they're going
The
for,
Trump
bro.
Tower. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mhm.
So we talked a little bit about our experience of seeing the movie for the first ever time. Question for you guys is: before seeing Back to the Future, did you see Michael J. Fox in any other movie or TV show?
Not before that.
No.
No.
Well, I used to watch Family Ties when he was on there all the time as Alex P. Keaton. And then he made a movie that I'm one of my most guilty pleasures ever, Teen Wolf. I love werewolves. So Teen Wolf, I think, came out right before Back to the Future.
Did it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was around the same sort of time as Thriller, wasn't it?
Yeah, the same time. But I remember seeing Teen Wolf first, and I thought because it was like a coming of age story, but a boy is a werewolf, and everybody hated Scott. Like Scott, you're shit, dude. That's the wolf. Come on, everybody know we love the wolf, but I want to be the wolf. No, the regular Scott sucks. Be the wolf. So I always like Teen Wolf. So I remember seeing them before then, and then Back to the Future came out. Like, oh, okay, this dude's a superstar now, and it was just over. It was just Michael J. Fox mania after that point. Yeah,
Man, yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Q. So I think like after the Family Ties, what you were saying, he had Back to the Future, and obviously he became like an overnight big success as such. And like covering his filmography on the channel, yeah, he did like Teen Wolf, did like Secret of My Success. He had like all these kind of similar comedies, like one after another. Yeah. So we've got Trav here, and Trav says heard him in Homeward Bound first.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, he was in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the dog movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I ever seen that one.
Oh, okay.
You didn't miss much.
I just knew the name, Homeward Bound, Lassie.
Man, yeah. It's an okay movie, Q. I can't sit here and be like,
I loved it as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Is this his voice or is he physically in the movie?
No, voice of the
voice. Okay.
of Chase or something like that. One of the dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He's the voice of like the one of the main dogs. I would say Q that it's an okay movie. But I guess it's as good as you're gonna get for him as voice acting. And like that was Stuart Little as such.
No,
yeah, he did a movie called Atlantis Lost Empire.
Oh, right.
I've not seen that one.
Yeah, came out. I don't know, early 2000s, late 90s, that area.
Yeah, I've heard it's got a bit of a following, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not a bad movie.
The thing is, I think for us in the UK, obviously we didn't. Mike, well, Mike's a lot younger than me, so he probably doesn't remember. But back then, we didn't really get much American TV, so we didn't have Family Ties on in the UK or anything like that. And it's only since, I don't know, since probably the early noughties that things like that have become available to us because of the internet and stuff. So when Back to the Future came out, other than Homeward Bound, when Back to the Future came out, really was the first time he was in your face in the UK. And I remember he was all over the local TV interviews with there was a great interviewer in the UK called Terry Wogan, and he was on his show, which is a bit like the Late Late Show and things like that in the US. It's what we used to have over here, and he was on all of those shows. And then everybody in the UK then knew who he was, and it was really Back to the Future that put him on the mark in the UK, because I think the UK premiere was the first one that he went to, because he didn't go to the US one because he was filming Family Ties or something, I think.
Yeah, so you're right, Pete. It was the first one you went to, and I don't know if Jason or Q knows this, but when Michael J. Fox attended the Back to the Future premiere, he had to sit next to Princess Diana.
Oh wow!
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he got to sit next to Princess Diana. So obviously he was kind of like a nervous wreck at the time, and that was obviously like massive. And the funny thing is, he talks about this in his autobiography. Is when he was sat next to Diana for this premiere. Obviously, the movie's on for like nearly 2 hours or just over that. The whole time he needed to go to the toilet, but because he was sat next to royalty, he's like, I can't go. So he really is like holding his bladder like this the whole movie, like. Come on,
man.
But Mike, have you told these guys?
You've
got your poster from the original movie, but Mike has not one, but 2 copies of the original program from the UK premiere. And one
wow!
By the entire cast.
Really? That's dope.
Yeah, so it's at my parents' house, so I wish I had it here so I could show you. So essentially, anyone who attended this original premiere in London, they were given this like souvenir program. That's basically like inside has like the cast, like a little bit about their like past acting works and stuff like that, and some pictures from the movie, and they were only given to guests who attended this premiere.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got 2 of them.
Damn. That's dope. You want to trade? I'd trade.
When Mike came down to my house earlier in the year, or last year now as it is, and we were going to Comic-Con, it was the first time we'd met, and I said, I'm taking my hoverboard with me to get Bob Gale to sign it. And I said, what are you getting signed? And he went, only this. I was
like, what? Only this?
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, man.
That's
definitely one of my best things. Yeah, Q, if you want to trade the quad poster for one, dude, I'm game for that.
Hey, that might not be a bad trade. I mean, the original program versus the original poster. I mean, yours is really one of a kind, though. Like it's not a lot of those out there.
Nah. So. Man, it's crazy, right? Because also from that premiere, and I think I've told Pete about this. I'm not sure. So I've got that original program that was given out. I've got an original ticket that was given as well, like an official ticket to get into the premiere, and I've also got an official car park ticket from it as well.
Oh wow! Dang, where did you get that? From one of the people?
eBay.
eBay? Wow, that's incredible. I thought you had to know somebody. I thought you knew Bob Gale or something. He hooked you up or something. That's amazing.
I wasn't that fortunate. Although Pete's got Bob Gale's email address.
Oh yes.
Oh nice.
Oh
nice. Yes. Dang, y'all got a lot. Y'all know a lot of people.
But he emails Bob Gale regularly. And he's like, Bob, when we're getting part 4?
Bob Gale's like, never.
Yeah, literally just one word answer. Never. Full stop.
But the musical obviously is on at the moment, and my family members, they have got a business and they build the DeLoreans for the musical, and they build the DeLorean for the one that's coming to Broadway, and Bob obviously comes down to them to check everything's going okay when he's in the UK. So I was very fortunate in that sense. And Mike's been there to see where it's all put together, haven't you, Mike?
Yes. Yeah, I can't say too much because I signed an NDA, so I can't talk about what I saw.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're not allowed to talk about it too much, but we're
Oh,
allowed
in
to
the
say
musical?
that. Sorry?
You signed an NDA about the musical?
No, about how the car and everything's built and where it's built and who buys
Oh,
it.
okay. Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, but it's coming to Broadway this year. Do you think you guys would go see it?
I mean, if it's near me, I don't know if I'll go to New York in Broadway to see it though. You know, if I can, you know, yeah, I got to talk to the wife and see if she let me, you know, what I'm saying, dig in the pocketbooks to go. But
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. I will absolutely love to see it, but I don't know if I'm gonna go to New York and see it. you
Yeah,
know?
I wouldn't go to New York, but if it came to Kansas City, maybe.
Mhm.
So-
Oh, if
so-
it came here, I'd definitely see it. Yeah.
Well, how far is New York from you guys?
I'm in Michigan, so
Okay.
if I'm in Michigan, New York's over there a little bit.
Okay.
So it's probably just about a 2-hour plane ride, maybe, if that. Yeah. So it wouldn't be a long ride. I would go see it if I could.
It's
If I could,
worth
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm in Kansas, Q. So
Mhm.
we're both kind of in the Midwest area,
Mhm.
and New York's on the East Coast. So
Mhm.
it's definitely a little bit of ways away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm off to see it again on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. It's already over there. Nice. That's
Yeah,
good.
well, it's been here 2 years. I think this is number 10 I've seen. 10th time I've seen it.
Oh, wow. Nice. Oh, yeah. You about that Back to the Future life for sure. Back to the Future whole life. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the tattoo and the Twin Pines Mall shirt. Yeah, you did
Yeah.
it. Oh, you did it. Dang. And the flex capacitor on the arm, son.
Pete,
That's
Pete,
crazy.
come closer to the camera. Zoom in,
I can see it. Oh.
because I've seen this in person.
That's Michael
Oh,
J.
wow.
The Tower.
Dude,
Wow.
that's insane. And the doc, those
Is that
are
Christopher
good,
Lloyd?
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
you
so
got,
good.
Twin
You got
Pines
the whole
Mall,
sleeve.
Twin Pines Mall. Yeah.
and then you got Lone Pines Mall,
That's sick, bro.
and
That
the
is the most
flats.
craziest thing I ever seen. And the flex capacitor on the bicep.
Oh, and the
And the clock tower. Dude, you have done it. That's insane. That's the coolest thing I've seen.
yeah.
For my poster, that's the dopest stuff.
Mike's got a good one as well. So
Well, the
So,
funny thing is, so when I went to Pete's house like early last year, his partner called Nick, saw me, saw that I had tattoos, and she's like, "You're just a northern version of this guy."
I think Mike will probably agree that the greatest moment for us when we went to this Comic-Con was we just stood in the queue waiting to go in. Bob Gale and Claudia Wells walk in, and Bob just stopped and spotted both of our tattoos, pulls us to one side, and starts filming our arms. And he goes, "Now turn them round like this," sort of thing.
Wow.
We've got it all on film.
Wow.
And we just looked at each other and went, "We've just been directed by Bob Gale."
Yeah.
And he said,
"Wow,
well, that is what I do." Then the greatest line ever in the world. He said, "So, do these tattoos get you laid?"
What was your answer?
I just went, "Not really."
That's awesome. That's an awesome story. Dang, y'all been directed by Bob Gale. That's sweet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
we got
pretty
direction from Bob Gale, the
dope.
producer.
Bob Gale. That's insane, bro.
What
a great story.
Should have said to him, "Well, if you're looking for a new Marty and Doc, I guess."
Yeah, I've seen some of your acting, Mike. Maybe you could do it.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Pretty good.
I'd be the Eric Stoltz version.
I don't know if you can see this very well or not, but
that's
this
him.
is it. There we are. There.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And
That's dope.
There's Bob.
Oh wow, bro. That's insane. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was wicked.
That's so cool.
Mhm.
That's so cool, bro.
Anyway, I've digressed. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mike.
Oh yeah. You guys the real deal.
I know. Yeah. They are.
Mhm.
Man, I tell you what, next live stream we'll see Q with a tattoo, we'll see Jason with
I
a
gotta get
tattoo.
one now.
Need to get one.
Yeah, I'm getting one of Mayor Goldie Wilson.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
You know, like the sound of that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we've got a couple of comments of people tuning in as well, so we're having a great time so far. We've got Josh from Klassic Reviews saying, "Hey everyone, hey Josh."
Hey, Josh.
Well, we've got Trav saying, "Sup boys." Hey Trav.
Try the
Sup?
OG.
Got Sound Lad saying, "Nice to see you today." So yeah.
Yeah, Garrett.
And he says, "Monthly Back to the Future stream. This is heavy."
This is heavy. What's it with gravity in the future?
And who knows? Is there something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull?
It has nothing to do
This
with
is heavy.
Also, I wanted to ask you guys about this, right? So this was on a live stream I was on last night. So I know you guys, I don't think we've got a chance to solve this. But there's a guy who watches my streams quite frequently called Lego M News, a really cool guy from Kuwait. And he was telling me about this kind of, I don't know what to say, kind of mock, kind of Buster style Back to the Future movie coming called Bitch to the Future. I don't know if
Bitch to the
about
Future.
this. He says, "Mike, I finally found the plot of the movie. It's about a 22-year-old girl who accidentally goes to the past and has a chance to apparently prevent her boyfriend's 15-year-old daughter from being born. It's so stupid. Do you guys know about this?"
Is Eric Stoltz in it?
Not that
I never heard of this.
Yeah,
It's called Bitch, though. It was an interesting name.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google it now. I've never heard of it. I just wanted to ask if you guys had.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Can't imagine that could work in any market. I don't know.
Independent market, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, what studio's going to greenlight a movie called Bitch? I mean,
Yeah, that's just the first word.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can see it. It ain't too bad of a word, is it?
Nah,
I can see if it started with a C. I'm like, hey, you can't name it that.
Yeah, that'd be
It's just not that bad. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just never heard of it. So I wanted to ask you guys if you had. That's all.
Heck no.
Well, Lego, if you know anything, well,
I wish I hadn't.
Oh, sorry, Q.
Oh, say no. Say I mean, it sounds interesting. I'll check it out. I mean, it's such a broad name, but you know, I never heard of it though till just now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here. So, Lego, if you're still watching, if you know anything else about it, or if you know where it's going to be shown, let us know. I'm intrigued. We've got Trav saying, "My buddy Ryan is responsible for showing me Back to the Future when we were like 14, and I've come to love them more and more growing up." Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think the more times you watch the movie, the more kind of appreciation you get for the movie.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And we've also got Ryan saying true. So that's Ryan who introduced him. He also says, Trav says, "How many times have they re-released them in theaters?"
That's a great question.
I know they did it for the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did it for the 25th. I got to see it in the cinema on the 25th anniversary.
Nice.
Remember that?
And they did it for the 35th, I think, as well.
Nice.
They're bound to do it for the 40th.
How many years is it now?
It'll be 40 in 2025, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 40th.
Was that Jason?
40th anniversary would be like the next one in 2025?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That means I'll be almost 50.
I'll be in my 40s then. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll be 1 year away from 50. Yep.
And people be in his 90s.
I'll be 4 years away.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's crazy though, right? It's like I think they're definitely going to re-release it for the 40th anniversary. They'll probably do some kind of special, like physical media box set release or something. I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that'd be dope.
I did saying about re-releases. It's funny actually. I tidied my office today because I knew that I was coming on the live stream, and I found this that somebody gave me, and this is it's the anniversary of the 25th re-release of Back to the Future. But when you do this, It's a USB card.
Oh, that's pretty slick.
Yeah.
And I think he probably is watching the guy that gave it to me, actually. So, Steph, thank you.
That's pretty dope.
I've never seen it before.
No, neither had I.
Oh, that's cool.
It's just probably something they gave free at the cinema, that kind of thing, you know.
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, here's a question for you guys. I've got maybe a bit of an idea, right? So, say 2025, we get the 40th year of Back to the Future. They're coming up with a physical media release. They've already done the plutonium box. What kind of item would you guys like to see in a physical release? You open it up and there's the discs, the box set.
Good question.
In a Whopper, a Burger King Whopper.
In a Whopper.
So
what?
the Burger King Whopper pack, because that's what Doc liked to eat was the Whoppers, wasn't it, in the beginning?
Oh, yeah, been.
And he was next door to the Burger King. And he opened his scene, he's just eating loads of Whoppers. So all the discs in a big Whopper pack.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Man, I think what could be cool is like, imagine if they did like a Nike Air Mag and you opened up like the Nike Air Mag like splits in half and you just get like the discs in like a stable set. That could be cool.
Like one Nike. Yeah, I like that one. Like two. Like if you had one shoe, you open it up with the disc. Yeah, that'd be kind of dope.
Or a DeLorean shaped something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I think like the DeLorean's kind of done to death a lot of the time, though.
That's the big one, yeah.
Yeah, so like obviously they did like the Lego DeLorean right there, like last year, and it just seems as if whenever any of these companies get a license for Back to the Future, it's like right instantly it's got to be Marty, Doc, and the DeLorean. They forget about every other character and everything else in that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might just be me that thinks that. We've got Trav saying 6-sleeve Pete.
Thank you, Trav. Thank you very much.
And Ryan saying OMG, so he loves it. And then he's like, I just have the poster.
Nice.
The top half of it, I just forgot to say when we were talking about the top half here, this was designed by mine and Mike's friend called Eugene, who's from the What the Flux podcast. I don't know if any of you guys have listened to it. But I got in touch with him because I know he worked at Universal Studios and stuff, and he's an art man, and he designed that part. And then the tattoo artist turned it into a tattoo. So yeah, I better mention.
Very dope.
Otherwise he'll tell me off.
Yeah, they look great too.
Yeah, I love that the fact like Eugene was helping to design that as well. Like that's awesome. Well, we've got Lego Pete saying now that's a Mona Lisa level art on an arm. Insane.
quite appropriate because I just this week surprised my other half that we're going to Paris in February. Surprised her for Christmas, and so we're going to go and see the Mona Lisa.
Wow.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That would be cool. But I wonder if there's Back to the Future stuff in France.
I'm going to look out for it. I'll smell it before I get there.
I can smell the flex capacitor. I can smell it. Make time travel possible. You did it.
Man. And then we've also got Jacob says, just right on Jimmy's stream. I hope you guys have an awesome stream and a wonderful 2023. And Back to the Future rocks.
What up, Jacob?
Absolutely. Hey, Jacob. So I've got a question for you guys. So I'm going to go start with Q reviews. Have you guys got a favorite scene in the movie or favorite behind the scenes moment of the movie that you know about?
My favorite scene of Back to the Future, man. Ooh, that's a tough one because I love the whole movie from beginning to end.
Oh yeah,
I love the beginning of the movie with the Power of Love theme. You know, starting, just riding a skateboard. You know, and him just being a kid. You know, that's why I think he's better than Eric Stoltz because Eric Stoltz seemed like a man. Yeah, didn't he always like even you seem like an older guy. Like, but you believe Michael J. Fox as a teenager. But like I guess that's not my favorite scene. I mean, to pinpoint it down. Man. I'm gonna go with the diner fight. I don't know. The first diner fight when he steps into the diner and then they go on the chase. But like, I just love the tension of that scene, and it's great. So I'm gonna go with the diner fight. You know what I'm saying? Him punching Biff. It started the mayhem. So yeah, thanks. I just like how it's shot. Like when he stands up, he's all like super tall.
Yeah.
He's got to look. You know what I'm saying? He's got to look up. This dude, he looked like a big bully for real. Like he was. Biff was kind of stupid, but he was intimidating.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect bully.
Yeah, it's big bird ball, and then I love that, and I love with Kristen Glover's acting there too. He's just
So
great.
good.
Everything is just lightning in the bottle. So I'm gonna go with the diner scene. Yeah.
Man, that's such a great scene, and even just like the build up to that though, when George gets the visit from Darth Vader at that night,
That's a great scene. That's a great scene.
And then he's like, and then the next scene because like, Marty, I had this dream last night, and,
yeah, his clothes are all disheveled, and he's trying to fix his hair.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
I also love the build up to that scene, Q. The fact like when like him and Marty's talking outside a diner, and Marty's giving him all these tips, and he's just got his pen and paper like this. He's
Yeah. He was wearing this milkshake.
What is he after for? Like a milkshake or something? What?
Chocolate milkshake, yeah.
Chocolate milkshake, and the guy slides
milkshake, chocolate.
Yeah.
He slides it over, drinks it all wild.
If you see the outtakes, the amount that fell off the end of the couch is hilarious.
Yep, I see that. They just fall.
Oh man! And then when he goes up to Lorraine as well. Oh man!
Amazing.
My density.
I think my favorite thing, although it's a lot about, we talked a lot about Michael J. Fox with the comedy. I think for me, the comedy, my favorite was the comedy with Doc, when Marty says to him, and that's when you came up with the idea of the flux capacitor, and he opens the door and it's like just his face it's hilarious because he realizes this guy isn't lying. Or when my other favorites, when they're walking towards the school and he says, "Whoa, this is heavy," and he goes, "Weight has nothing to do with it." And it's just those little things like that are just hilarious for me. But my favorite, you say about deleted scenes or outtakes, I think there was a scene where they're in the school. I don't know if you've seen it. It's going around on TikTok and stuff a lot now, where Michael J. Fox has got a cigarette in his mouth and he's pretending to be Hispanic, and he sees Lorraine cheating, and he's like, "Hey, puto!" And it's a really, really funny. If you haven't seen it, you YouTube it or whatever. But it's a really funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Wow, I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
To you, Mike, it's brilliant.
Wow, okay, I'll have to check that out. I would say for me, one of my favorite kind of like behind the scenes that I've heard about is directing Crispin Glover in that garden scene.
Oh yeah,
yes, God,
man.
Cuss.
So for anyone who doesn't know about this, so there's a scene when Marty and George are talking in the back, like in the back of his house, and he's like, "Oh, look, you've got to ask Lorraine to the dance." They're going through the scene of how the Saturday night's going to play out, and when he's getting parked up with Lorraine, and they were having a nightmare filming Crispin Glover because he kept walking off out the shot.
I didn't know that. Nice.
And then Crispin kept saying to him, he's like, "It shouldn't really be directed like that, It should be done differently. George wouldn't do this,
George wouldn't do this, yeah."
It's like he says George wouldn't open the door to the diner, and that's why Marty opens the door and pushes him through.
Oh, yeah.
And then but I'm loving the fact in the end in that garden scene, they had to make a tape on the ground and box him in and say, "Do not move from this spot."
Oh,
that's one of my favorite moments.
Dang, I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Oh man, apparently it was a nightmare to direct. So I don't know. But Jason, what about you? What would you say is your favorite scene or behind the scenes?
I want to say in that diner scene, I think you can see Eric Stoltz for like a split second. And one of the parts where Biff pushes him maybe or something. I can't remember, but
they say the punch is still Eric Stoltz, don't they?
Yeah, so that's like the only clip we still have Eric Stoltz in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
From what you said,
Yeah, that's kind of interesting that he's kind of in it a little bit.
Yeah.
He's still in there, but yeah, I think I've told my favorite scene before to you, Mike. Always been my favorite is at the dance. Biff, George opens up the door thinking it's going to be Marty McFly, but it's Biff. His arch enemy, the big school bully. And so there's this look of like, oh my gosh, like, should I go through with this? But he actually grows the spine and, stands up to Biff and, no, Biff, you lay your hands off her. He does that whole thing. And then he, of course, tries to punch him, and Biff catches his arm and bends it. And he's, in pain. And at the same time, I think Marty's like on stage and he's having trouble. His hands maybe disappearing maybe at that point. And so it's very in the I don't know, the music I think is getting really tense. And you can hear Biff's laughter. He has this, oh man, like this laughter is just haunting, and he's laughing, and it's just so, this whole scene's just brilliantly directed. I always pay attention to like how he has his arm and he looks up and he sees Lorraine on the ground because Biff pushes Lorraine onto the ground. So he sees Lorraine there and he looks up at Biff, and Biff's just laughing his head off. And the camera closes up on his fists. And I love that so much. That was such brilliant direction, close up on the fist. So you're like, oh, something's happening, as an audience, you're like, oh man, I know something's going to happen here. And then as he looks and it's just edited just brilliantly. And then of course he turns around and he punches him, and he does like a full like spin onto the car and knocks him out. And the music is all tense, and I absolutely just love that scene. That's one scene where if Back to the Future is on and that scene comes up, I'm like, everybody shut up. I gotta watch this scene. I've seen it a million times, but I'm like, I have to watch this scene. I love it so much. But yeah.
Great scene.
That's a great scene. And the fact that he's just grows a spine, as he said.
Yeah.
That one moment he needs to grow a spine, he does it, and it pays off big time as such. We've got a question here. So firstly, we've got Sir, what are you saying? Hi, Pete.
It's my friend Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark. We've got Lego News. He says, I think my favorite scene from the movies, or one of my favorite, is when Doc has explained to Marty on how messed up 1985 was created. Just gives that bit creepy feeling. I love that scene. Yeah.
Are you talking about Back to the Future 2?
That's what I was thinking.
Explaining to Marty how the messed up night. Oh, when he explains, he's got on in Back to the Future 2 with the chalkboard.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was.
Hell?
Yeah.
No, but I can't imagine it'd be much worse than this or something like that.
Yeah, it's a great scene. He also says he loves the scene where Marty's singing and playing the guitar at the dance.
Yeah, that's the big one. I did a poll on my channel when me and Mike talked about Back to the Future, and I put that down as like, what's your favorite scene? And that scene won the poll, the Marty playing Johnny Be Good and all that. Good. So I think for a lot of people, that's the big scene.
Oh man, such an iconic scene.
Yeah.
I love it, we've got a question from Pete's friend Mark. He says, question to all. Who is your favorite character that is not a main character?
A main?
Yeah. For me, because Mark asked the question, I'm going to say 3D, who's one of Biff's entourage. For the simple reason that I hosted a Back to the Future night about a year ago now, a year and a half ago, and Mark told me he'd got his outfit ready, but he wasn't going to tell me what it was. So I was a little concerned that he might turn up in like a Borat thong or something. But he wore sort of slacks and a shirt, but his whole costume cost him about £2.50 because he just went and bought a pair of 3D glasses and turned up. And so for that reason, I'll say, because Mark asked the question 3D, and then I'll hand it over to you guys.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. Yeah, like Casey Simesco, I think his name is. I can't say his surname.
Okay.
I think that's who plays 3D. Yeah, he did a couple of films in the 80s, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's a good one because
Good question.
so I guess like the main ones we're talking about here is like Marty, Doc, George, Lorraine, and Biff. I'm assuming.
Yeah, those are probably the main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Strickland.
Yeah, I was gonna say Strickland.
Gotta go Strickland. Yeah, just like the lines he has, he doesn't have much screen time.
So good.
However, like every scene he's in, he's still really memorable. And like, of course, slacker, big catchphrase, and
Slacker.
you're a slacker, McFly.
Your father's
Pops. Q, what about you? Who would you say is your kind of favorite character that's not the main one?
Uncle Jailbird Joey. That everybody's story's resolved, but they don't never say what happened to Uncle Jailbird Joey. You know what I'm saying? Like, why was he in the movie? Why was he mentioned to show that this was sort of a dysfunctional family in a certain way? But we never see Uncle Jailbird Joey, or never. He's never really mentioned again. And I think he's mentioned in one of the sequels, maybe kind of in 3 or Descendant or something. Yeah. I can't remember like that. But his story's never resolved. Is he always in jail in every time period? You know, could we get a spinoff series on Netflix? Uncle Jailbird Joey, you know, in the trials and tribulations. So
the only time we see him is in a crib as a baby.
Yeah, it's a crib as a baby. Get used to those bars, kid. That's the only time we see him. That's the only time we see him. Other than that, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody's story, you know, works out some type of way, but Uncle Jailbird Joey always in jail. But yeah. But yeah, I like him, but I like Mayor Goldman Wilson. I like the sound of that. I don't know. You just delivered that line so funny and cool. Mayor. Yeah, I could be mayor. Mayor Goldman Wilson. So I don't know. I just like that character's performance. Other than that, other than the main 5, I mean, yeah. Man, I'll take the mayor.
Man, that's a great pick. I think you know, Q, that is a very good point though. Like, whatever happened to, like, why was he in jail?
Why is he in a movie?
Because
he's obviously been in prison for a long time because his Marty and Dave and Linda were sat round the table, and it was like as if they said, "Oh, what, your brother?" Like as if they'd never met him. So he'd obviously been in jail for a long time.
Well, yeah, because if you guys remember in the beginning of the first movie, like literally within kind of the first, I'd say, 10-15 minutes, if that maybe, like they sat down at the dinner table, and Lorraine chucks the cake on the table. She's like, "Oh, he's not getting out of jail today," or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think he said he cries every time we take him out of the crib. They say he cries every time we take him out of the crib. So that's his story arc. Like I'm serious. Like, why is he in a movie though? Like, is he just for comic relief? Because he was the only character that really have anything to do. Even the Mayor Goldman Wilson became mayor. You know.
Yeah.
Right. Well, okay. Well, here's a question for you guys, and I haven't seen the movies in a little while. But so Mayor Goldie Wilson, right? He becomes the mayor in 1985. We don't really see him in part 2 and 3, right?
Just one part of part 2.
Yeah, the Descendant, maybe that's the mayor.
Is he in part 2? In the future, mayor?
Part 2, he's on that billboard.
He's on the billboard. Yeah,
he's playing his grandson, isn't he?
I think so.
I just
when my grandfather was mayor of this town.
Yep. So see, he even got a story arc. But Jailbird Joey, shit out of luck, kid.
But there's got to be something about Jailbird Joey.
What? I want to know too. Like, why did they introduce him and never did anything? You know, nothing.
Have either any of you played the video game? Because I haven't.
I played the one that was on PC.
Because they obviously go
some of that
through Marty McFly's family, so I wonder whether Joey's in that at all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Jailbird Joey. It's like so.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Right.
hello.
So I've just Googled why was Uncle Jailbird Joey in prison?
Yeah,
And it seems to be an answer.
Oh,
an answer.
Okay, so it says here is like a brief synopsis, right? I'll read it out. It says the piece explains that Joey's parole has been denied for a 12th consecutive time.
12.
12. But states that Joey is serving a 20-year prison sentence in Folsom for racketeering.
Dang. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Shady.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's shady.
He's known for being imprisoned in every timeline of Back to the Future.
yeah, that's his fate.
Oh, I did not know that.
And he was played by Eric Stoltz.
That would be a good spin-off, Mike, with him escaping prison or something, maybe. And
Jailbird Joey.
that could be a whole story on its own.
Yeah, like in different timelines, escaping prison every time,
that would work.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, right? If Disney had the license to Back to the Future, we'd get a Jailbird Joey
There'd be a
series.
spin-off.
We'd get an Einstein travels to different locations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd get Principal Strickland to his retirement.
yeah, in school. Different time periods. Yes, I see it. Ooh,
I don't
Disney.
know.
You can do the alternative 1985 and have Strickland be like an action star because he has that shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say he goes on like a revenge storyline or something. And
I'll watch it.
I'll watch that. So Jason, who would you say is your favorite character besides that one of the main ones?
I can't take Strickland.
If you want to, you can.
Who else is there? I'm trying to think.
I guess.
What's that?
You've got like Jennifer. You've got like Dave and Linda, Marty's brother and sister.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about the brother and sister. I don't know if I care too much about them in the movie, but I was thinking I like Lorraine's father. I hit one of those kids again, or something like that. Hit him with the car again.
Yeah,
and he's kind of funny. Some of those scenes. He's not in very much, but
I love it when he calls his whole family idiot. They're all idiots.
Yeah, that's right.
Be idiots.
Idiots.
You believe them too.
Well, here's a question for you guys, right? So they always say, like, as you just said there, Jason, so Lorraine's dad, he's always like, oh, one of those damn kids ran the road again, whatever. Yeah, is that how Lorraine's had every boyfriend in her life?
Is that how many have there been?
Right.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
And all the Calvin Klein underwears on the hope chest.
Well, I wonder what George McFly. Do you imagine he was like walking by and he saw Lorraine in the window, and that's where he got the idea to like climb the tree and be a peeping Tom? I don't know. Like, how did that all come about?
He's a little creepy.
Yeah, real creepy.
Yeah, like borderline stalker in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of dark. You think about it.
Yeah.
And at the end
of a prison.
As a peeping Tom.
And at the end of the movie, we're rooting for a stalker. You know, we're like, come on, George.
Yeah.
We got Lego saying, "You're a slacker, McFly. You know when your father used to come to school, he was a slacker too."
He was a slacker too. Yeah. Classic
line.
I love when he catches Biff towards. I don't know if Biff is drinking alcohol or he's catches Biff at the dance and he's like, "Are you drinking alcohol?" And Biff's like, "Oh, I'm not old enough to drink alcohol." And and he like hits him with a paper or something. Like even Biff the bully like backs down to Strickland. I mean,
Thanks.
Yeah. Don't mess with Strickland.
Don't mess with Strickland.
No, man.
But I know another character we've forgotten, but I think it's in 2, not 1. So apologies for diverting off of 1, but the wallet guy in 2.
Oh, I love the wallet guy.
Oh,
wallet
yes.
guy. He had one line and he overused that line so much. I think
Like
he took his
five
wallet. I think he took his wallet.
Oh yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
the wallet guy. Now, I remember. That's
Did he
great.
take his wallet? I think he took his wallet.
He took his wallet.
Yeah, I think he stole that guy's wallet.
He's upset with the wallet.
Imagine he was shooting that scene, and Bob Gale's like, "Go, action!" And he messes up. And Bob Gale's like, "For goodness sake, you had one line."
Stop saying wallet so much. Oh, stop it. Just leave it in.
Just improvise the scene and just the wallet.
Imagine have to hire an acting coach for that one guy with a one
Oh
line.
man.
Oh dear.
Was he just an extra, or he was an actor?
Yeah, he was an extra. But an interesting thing from that scene is that when Marty takes the almanac and runs through the crowd, a friend of mine was interviewing this woman that was in the film who stood just behind, and as Michael J. Fox runs off, he stood on her foot, and if you look very closely, you can see her go like this, and he actually broke her toe.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh man. Dang, no. That's an interesting fact I definitely didn't know about. Dang.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So she was on What the Flux with Eugene. And she just basically said, "You'll see me grimace as he stands on my foot, but he actually broke my toe."
Dang.
There you go. Anyway, useless information.
Cool.
Well, talk about characters that we've forgotten around. Trav has mentioned his favorite characters, and that is in part 3. We've got ZZ Top.
ZZ Top. 3. Nice.
Right.
Yeah, it's got a beat. You can dance to it.
and we've also got Blacktastic Media saying Happy New Year, fellas. So hey,
Happy Blacktastic. What up, family? Happy New Year, man.
Hey man, hope you're well. So yeah, so we've talked a little bit about our favorite scenes, about our favorite characters and stuff. So yeah, if you guys got any Back to the Future questions, drop them in the chat. We'll get to them. So what I'm going to ask you guys is, how many times do you own this on physical media?
Ooh.
How many what? Sorry.
How many times do you own the movie or movies on physical media?
Ooh. Let's have a look.
Wait, Q, do you own this on like DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, or anything?
Right now, shit. Let me think. I right now own it on 3 iterations. I think I got the old first DVD set, that box set. You know, remember that everybody had that one, I think. And then I bought the Blu-ray set, which I enjoyed. I believe. And then the 4K one came out, so I got all 3 of those. I don't have any of the VHS anymore. I used to have those, but right. I used to, because I owned all 3 original VHS copies, but I don't. Of course, over time I just forgot what happened to them. So I own them on 3 iterations. The old DVD, which just collects dust in the garage, and I got the Blu-ray on my shelf, and then I've recently got the 4K. I believe this Black Friday for like $30 or something like that. It was pretty cheap. Yeah. So those. So yeah, I got them on 3 DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K.
Nice. And have you seen it on 4K yet?
Yeah, it looks great. I watched the first one when I got it on 4K. Yeah, it's clean. It's a nice transfer. The Blu-ray still looks great. That one they released a couple years ago, like 6 years ago or something. And that one looks great. I was like, damn, this looks really good. But 4K just takes it, the upper resolution just takes it to another level. It looks really clean. I really like the first transfer they did of Back to the Future on that one. Because sometimes 4Ks can mess them up, like Terminator 2 Judgment Day. They kind of messed that 4K up. It doesn't look as good. I'd rather watch it really on VHS, be honest with you. But but the Back to the Future one's good. They cleaned it up. Yeah. So,
I heard it was like a great transfer in 4K. I've just not seen it yet.
Well, we tried to at my house, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Basically, I've got a Plex Media server.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I put 4K on, but my broadband wasn't powerful enough, and as of day before yesterday, I've just got full fiber. So I tried it yesterday, Mike, and it worked perfectly.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
So, but yeah, the only physical copy I've got now is the original VHS, I don't have any because I put it all on a Plex. So.
Okay, yeah. Hey,
But
Pete, you need that 4K box set, man. I'm telling you.
But one thing I recently did, was I took all three movies and I put them into like iMovie, and I took out the opening credits of 2 and 3 and the end scene of 1 and just started 2, so it's one continuous movie.
Really?
I've put it on my Plex, and it's 5 hours 25 minutes long.
Right, just as long as Avatar.
So it's just
Avatar.
it's just one long movie. Just one bored afternoon.
Nice.
So, well, okay. Well, Pete, here's a question for you. So, if you've took out those little bits, do you just all of a sudden get like a 1 second transition from Claudia Wells to Elizabeth Shue?
No, because he comes back to the house and realizes everything's changed. So when he says keys and then opens the garage door, I've just taken that scene from number 1 out and started number 2 with him opening to what's her name?
Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue, yeah. So the only bit you see with Claudia Wells is at the beginning. So
wow, okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting take to have it. Yeah, I mean, just quickly to add to that, we've got Harry from his channel, Halo. Says, Happy New Year, guys. So, Happy New Year, Harry. It says, recently watched all 3 movies. Was it jarring for you guys when Marty's new girlfriend was suddenly played by Elizabeth Shue?
Yeah.
A little bit for me.
I remember being weird. I was like, yeah, her face is a lot whiter than the other girls. I remember seeing it in the theater, like not saying Elizabeth Shue was big, but I just immediately noticed her head was, stretched out in the y-axis. Like, this is like, damn, she got a big head. So now, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop looking at it. Like, this is weird. Why did they just use the other girl? I mean, that's one of the first times I noticed, like, they changed the actress or actor in the movie. Like, it was her. I was like, oh yeah, that's not the same girl.
I always thought it was the same girl for a long time.
Same.
I think it was only till recently I was like, oh, that's a different girl.
Yeah, it's a big change, and I don't think Elizabeth Shue plays the role that well. It's the script writing for the part 2 and 3 when she appears. I don't think is done as well, in my opinion.
I don't think they wanted her in the movie, to be honest, but they ended the first movie with her in the car, so they had to have her in the second movie, or they would have been happy just to write her out of the second movie, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one because obviously at the end of that first movie you get Claudia Wells, and right at the beginning of the second movie it's like the reshoot, as Pete was saying, of that end scene. I mean, if it was me, I would have just took that end scene out and just reshot up just with Marty and Doc, though.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I think that's what they wanted, maybe, but it was too late.
Yeah. They probably didn't know they were going to even get a second one. So
yeah, they didn't know. I don't think.
So it was always planned to be just one movie. So when they then got the second and third, and they gave in other words, there was a lot of money offered. I think in an interview I saw with Bob Gale, he said that obviously Jennifer was never supposed to be in the car. It was just to end the movie. So they had to then write her into number 2. They didn't know what to do with her. And that's why Doc tranks her in the car.
Yeah. To basically get out of the screen time pretty much.
Yeah. Because she was just basically knocked out in like a little damsel in distress at one point in her own house. And then she was just written kind of out of the movie after that. Yeah. Makes sense.
She's barely in the third one at the end.
Sorry, Jason?
Is she just barely in the third one at the end?
Yeah, right at the end. Yeah.
So
I love the fact of like Doc pretty much like does like a Men in Black to Jennifer Parker. Like, look at this right here.
Shut up.
Men in Black.
You didn't see nothing.
Claudia Wells was supposed to do number 2, and she was all booked in for number 2, but I think it was her mother was passing away with leukemia or something.
Yeah.
So she went to her mother, which obviously was more important.
Yeah.
it would have been interesting to see what they would have done with her though if she came back for a second, because they would have done something completely different.
Yeah, totally.
But the second movie, I know we'll touch on that when we get to part 2. But it was meant to be completely different anyway, because Crispin Glover was meant to come back for a second.
Oh yeah, that's a whole episode of this in its own.
Right. So I mean, you guys know about the whole Crispin Glover thing, right?
Yeah, I vaguely. Well, he like I know he was difficult to work with or something like that, or I don't know the complete story.
So yeah, so from what I know anyway, I'm sure there'll be more to it than what I know. Is with the success of the first movie, there was talks about making the 2 and 3 that Pete was saying, and Crispin was like, "Well, I want a pay rise." I think he was asking for $1 million. Yeah, I think he was asking for $1 million, which obviously nowadays is nothing, but back then, 85, 86, whatever, it was huge. So Bob Gale and Zemeckis or Universal were just like, yeah, that's not happening. So he walked away from the project. He was like, no, I'm not going back then. So in part 2, there's a guy called Jeffrey Wiseman who plays George McFly. And I interviewed Jeffrey Wiseman on the channel a couple of years ago. And he was saying at the time that he was in makeup for like sometimes like 4-6 hours to get like prosthetics on his face to look like Crispin Glover. And because of that, Crispin Glover sued like Back to the Future and Universal for using his likeness without his permission.
Yeah.
And he won the lawsuit against them. And ever since, him and Bob Gale have been in arguments non-stop.
But it's also the reason now why in any movie you can't use the likeness of another actor without their permission because of that.
Yeah, it was the first case ever.
Nowadays, you could just, we got technology now. You can put someone in a movie without them being in the movie,
Yeah. You can, but
they made a image of George on the computer and put it in there.
I think that's still taking his likeness, right? Or in a movie, But you can do it on television. Somebody act like Donald Trump, and you can't be sued for that, correct?
No.
Yeah. It's in a film. So if I said I'm Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cop and look just like him, I'm playing this character. Can you be sued for that? Or does the studio own like the character, like Iron Man, like Rhodes, his boy was played by Terrence Howard, then it was Don Cheadle. That's the character. They can do whatever they want with the character. But I see they did use his likeness of in Back to the Future 2. So he had the same haircut, same makeup, and everything. So that's a little biting on the nose. So it's tricky, I guess.
But what they did was, and apparently it's quite common in movies, is they take a cast of all the characters' faces, and obviously they needed to take a cast of his face so that they could make him look old at the beginning of number 1. So they had this cast, and then they reused it, and then they put the mold over Jeffrey Wiseman's face.
Yeah,
that's where they got in trouble.
Yeah, because that's literally him. His face, his likeness. Yeah, not the character. Yeah.
So they totally wrote him out of the third movie. Then they're just like, forget it.
Yeah. Yes, they were going to make 2 and 3, like, because obviously, as much as we talk about Marty and all that, the story of 1 is really about George,
right?
And he's really the sort of the main character almost, and so they were going to build more on 2 again about George again, carrying on. It was going to be a completely different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was meant to, like Pete said, it was meant to focus on him. I think the entire trilogy was meant to be focused on those. But because of the whole George thing, they're like, right, well, he kind of needs to be in the second movie. And then after that, they're like, right, we'll relegate him to this, get rid kind of thing. So it's a shame. It's a shame. Because I would have loved to have seen what they would have done with the George concept going forward.
Crispin Glover's great.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. We've also got Lego on News. So this is a pretty funny comment. He says here, Pete sounds like my old math teacher. And that's a compliment because that teacher was a goat teacher for me.
Well, Lego, I hope you've done your homework. So. Or there'll be detention because you're a slacker.
You slacker? Boy, if I was a teacher, I'd use that line. You're a slacker.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh man. And we've also got Stephen as well. So hey, Stephen, hope you're well. He says, "Happy 2023, future boys. Nice to see you again." And he says, "Heading back to Future Fan Fest in Blackpool again?" Question mark. Yes, I'm going to be there.
Yeah,
little future boy.
Yeah, I'm going to be going to Future Fan Fest in Blackpool next month. Pete, you're away then, right?
No, I'm away the day after, but sadly, my other half decided that she'd be born the day before the Future Fest on.
She decided.
And it's not like it's a normal birthday. It's it's a big birthday. I won't say what number, but it's a big birthday. So if I go to Future Fan Fest, I might not have a girlfriend when I come back.
Just bring her along. It's cool.
Oh yeah, she'll love that.
So yeah, Stephen, I'll see you there. Unfortunately, Pete won't be there, but I'll see you there. But he has got a good question. He says, also, do you think that they've rushed 2 and 3 after Universal said make the movies with or without the Bobs? That's a good question.
Yeah, I wonder.
I think this is a tough one. I think kind of personal opinion, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say as well. I think kind of what we've literally just discussed in this kind of 5-10 minutes, I think it's a bit of a yes and a no. I think because of the whole Crispin Glover situation, they had to rewrite the whole George McFly script.
Right.
And because of the whole Claudia Wells element, they were like, right, we'll have to re-rush all of this and hire a new person to play Jennifer Parker. So already they must have had some kind of idea of thinking, right, this is what we're going to do with George McFly in the next 2 installments. And this is how we're going to wrap up his story and Marty and Doc's story. But because of that, they're like, oh, crap, we're going to have to do something else, and Doc gets a love interest in number 3 and stuff. So I think a little bit yes, I think a little bit no. I'm going to open to you guys. Well, what do you think?
Well, it doesn't feel rushed to me. I think they're both really good stories, and I enjoy the second, third one so much. So if it was rushed, they did a really good job.
Yeah,
I agree. I think if anything, they were probably all very similar, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, there's elements of 2 and 3 that, don't get me wrong, 1's a perfect movie, but 2 and 3 aren't. But if you look at it logically, they wrote 2 and 3. They had the same amount of time to write 2 and 3 as they did 1, because it was 5 years later, or nearly 4 years later, before they released 2 and 3, a year apart. But 1 was filmed in like 8 weeks. Because of the Eric Stoltz situation.
Oh, yeah.
Rushed. It was 1. Do you know what I mean? Whereas 2 and 3, they gave them 4 years to write and film them.
Wow, yeah.
That's my opinion. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think I think studios wanted those movies out. Just 2 and 3 were filmed simultaneously, right? Back to back. I think like you said, Back to the Future 1 is flawless. I I really have no complaints about that film at all. The second and third one, I do think they did a good job, but it's hard to capture that lightning in the bottle that the first one did. So yeah, they were trying to get their story out, and like I said, I think they came up with because 2 is a fun roller coaster ride, and 3 kind of wraps the story all up, as a trilogy. So I still think they did good. Could have maybe spend some more time on certain elements, but like Mike said, the Eric Stoltz thing and Kristen Glover thing probably threw things off, but they still had to keep this Back to the Train production rolling. So I think the movies that we got, and I think they still are fine.
Yeah, and I think it's it's a fantastically worthy watch trilogy. And by the time you get to the end of the first one, you're like, oh, I want to see what happens in number 2. And at the end of number 2, you're like, I want to see how this wraps up now. Even though we already know how it wraps up, you still kind of get that feeling, I think it's a good question. We've also got here as well, very quickly, we have got two can play at that, who is Charlie and Barney, who me and Pete know. So, hey guys, hope you're well.
Hey guys.
They said, just got back from the New Year's parade where Charlie was cosplaying as Marty McFly. So, does a very good part.
And his girlfriend was cosplaying as Jennifer.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Poppy, she's awesome. And he says, good to see you guys. So yeah, hey man, thanks for tuning in. And we've got Lego saying, I have done my homework. It's because of where he goes. Like I'm very ear on math. And Grace Strickland would say, you're a slacker because I'm a slacker at school.
That's funny.
He's done his own work, which is good. So Rob, this is an interesting question. It takes away a little bit from the first movie we're talking about, but I'm sure to hear. So, hey Rob, he says, are we all agreed that the trilogy ranking is 1, 3, and 2? Or do any of you like 2 more than 3? Okay, well that's my ranking personally, number 1, 3, and then 2. What about you guys?
I'm with you. I'm 1, 3, and 2. Yep.
Tough one.
I rank them 1, 2, 3 personally, but 2 and 3 are so close.
Yeah. I mean, me and Mike, we did a whole episode on this with Fernando, didn't we? And at the moment, I would say it's 1, 3, and 2, because obviously I've always got them on generally somewhere. But mine changes. 1's always the best.
Yeah.
But if 2 and 3, it flips.
Yeah.
All the time. But yeah, I would say we'd agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that they're all pretty much the same. I can appreciate though, like with Jason and you, Pete, you were saying, like, can flip flop between the two, or especially you, Pete. Jason's more fixed. He's like, right, 1, 2, 3. That's the order. We've got Lego saying, I love 2 more than 3 because it's the most rewatched Back to the Future movie, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well,
it had a lot more props and things you could buy from it than.
They got cool stuff.
Yeah.
The hoverboard and the flying cars is so cool though in the second movie.
Yeah.
The future was so cool to look at the future. Like, oh, we get to see the future, 2015. The future. Yeah. So I was excited to see the future. That was the most exciting part. And then I love the roller coaster ride throughout the 50s and time. I thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah,
but I think 3 just a little. It's Doc's story, so it's kind of it hits home, and then how they conclude the whole thing with the DeLorean, and like, oh, I hated to see the DeLorean destroyed at that point. Every time I see it when the train hits it, I'm like, no. And then I remember sitting in the theater like, oh, I know it's over now. It's all so this thing is over. So yeah.
So Q, when you saw the first movie in the movie theater, I mean, 4 years, that's a long time. Do you remember waiting 4 years for the second and third one?
Yeah, I do. I remember, like, this is before the internet too, just trying to watch any little TV spots, or they're making Back to the Future, all like, and then I started to see the making of, the hoverboards, how they were trying to do that. So like, it was my most anticipated movie ever, and I seen 2 and 3 in the theaters as well. Yeah. So like, I remember 3. I was a little sick. My mother took me to like a matinee. I was the only person in there watching Back to the Future 3. It was awesome. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. I love those.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
it was
awesome
good stuff. Yeah.
I mean, we've got Rob just to add to this queue as well. He says, I put 3 over 2 because some of the humor fell flat. Like Michael J. Fox playing his daughter in the future.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The makeup wasn't great.
Yeah, I remember that. That was weird.
Dad, is that you? Yeah.
Dad?
I think the comedy in 3 is good. How the roles reverse. So Marty's the one telling Doc, "We've got to go back," and when they showed that the roles reverse when Marty says, "Great Scott," and Doc says, "This is heavy."
That was so good.
Yeah, I like the role reversal and how it's like just switched up, and it's just like those subtle lines you hear, like you wouldn't think you'd hear Marty say "Great Scott." We've got Robbie also just says, "I do like 2 though. It's a great trilogy, absolutely."
Really trilogy.
And we've also got it's DGG Mona says, "What's funny is I didn't see 1 till I was older because 2 was on TV more in the 90s."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, over here in the
Yep.
UK, a channel called ITV, that's all they play is number 2. They don't
Yeah,
play
Back to
any of the
the
other
Future.
movies.
Mhm.
Yeah, so every
Mhm.
time it's on, like you flick through, you're flicking through the TV, you're just checking the channels. This one channel will only play the second movie,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, well, where's number 1 and 3?
Mhm.
So I don't know. Got to say what he says. The makeup wasn't great in MJ, but I thought, but you still thought.
What did he say? The makeup wasn't great on MJ, Michael,
But
but I bet
would,
you still would. Oh God.
Oh.
That is
Oh man.
that's the humor of my friend Mark. As when he's playing his daughter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No.
I'll let you guys answer that one.
Yeah. I mean,
no.
she wasn't that cute, though. Even as a woman, she was a little weird looking, though. The girl Michael J. Fox, I don't know what it was. He did look like a woman, though, kind of. He just wasn't cute, in my opinion.
Yeah, something odd about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that cute?
Bit weird. I didn't realize till I grew up though that was him. I thought, it's a girl family. Okay, who's this actress?
Yeah, I thought it was an actress.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that nose right away. I was like, that's that Michael J. Fox pointy ass nose. Like, oh yeah.
But it was clever with things like that. It's like it wasn't until I was older that I realised that Mad Dog Tannen, Buford Tannen, was a different actor to Tom Wilson. I thought it was a different guy, if he makes sense, but it wasn't. It's the same guy.
Yeah,
I thought it was a different actor growing up, and then years went on. I went, no, that's the same guy.
Yeah, he did. He did good as a cowboy, though. Man, that mustache they gave him really worked. He really did a good job.
He did a great job
playing Mad Dog Biff Tannen, almost better than Biff. But Biff, I like Biff. You can the first Biff. I mean,
man, plays a great role as Mad Dog. I think he really hams it up. We got Exploitation also saying, I like the music in 3. Wasn't ZZ Top in there playing old timey music? Yeah, they were playing in that festival.
It was getting it.
And that's the best rendition you get without any copyright issues.
Yeah. No copyright strike on that.
Yeah, I think you copyright that.
And Rob,
I'm about to go put on Christian Glover's face in a minute, and then
get some copyright. As she says, it's surprising that they couldn't make Fox look cute as a girl, since as a boy he's adorable.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, obviously he was a good-looking man, so you'd think a bit of makeup, I guess. Yeah, I mean, just obviously makeup artists back then weren't great, I don't know.
Whose idea was it? His idea to do that, or
I don't know.
I mean, why didn't they just get an actress? Why did they do Michael J. Fox?
I don't know.
Why did they think that was a good idea? I don't know.
It's a bit like how in number 3, his mum is his great grandmother, and it's like, what went on in this town? Are they all like inbred or?
That's right.
Yeah, they loved using the same actors in different time periods. I don't know if that was Zemeckis' idea or what, but
I think it's probably just to make them relatable, so they know who they are. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Through time.
It must be one of those things where maybe budgets, they're like, right, guys, we've got this budget, you got to do this.
Well, Doc doesn't change at all between the time periods.
That'd have been weird to see him as a woman,
Doc always looks old, and Strickland's always bald no matter what time period you put him in.
Right. Well, funny thing is, actually, just let you guys know, is so me and Pete know this, but in the musical at the moment, in the UK, so they used to have an actor who used to play Strickland. Obviously, he was bald, but the current Strickland in the musical has hair.
Really?
Yeah, and it's because I think the guy got like a hair transplant. So,
oh wow.
So when he got the role for Strickland, he was like, "Well, I'm not shaving my hair. I've paid to get my hair in. Why would I shave it out?"
Yeah.
So they've had to cut the line of, did that guy never have hair?
Yeah, that's a good one. I never.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting fact. We've got UK Man 15 says, going to see the musical on Friday. Can't wait. We'll have a great time, dude. Yeah. Hope you really, really enjoy it. If it's your first time or if you come back, hope you enjoy it. I've got a quick question for you guys. What's that?
I said I'll see him there because I'm there on Friday as well.
Wow.
Yes,
Nice.
Oh, cool. I thought you were going Thursday.
No, it's Friday. I've just looked. I thought it was Thursday. It's Friday.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, you'll see UK Man 15
I was
there.
like,
So
going 2 days in a row? Wow.
So I've got a question for you guys. I don't know if you've maybe noticed anything besides me, right? So, but in the first movie, we're talking about goofs here for a second. And one thing I've always noticed on the DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, from what I've heard, is the fact that when Einstein comes come back from the future or go to it, and you see like the fire trail between Marty and Doc, they still got it where the fire is on Michael J. Fox's jeans leg. I don't know if you've ever realized that. When like when the fire goes through,
Yeah.
and like Marty and Doc stood there like this,
Yeah.
like the editing on the fire is still on like Marty's jeans leg. So I'm just like,
Damn.
his leg
not
should be on fire right about now. I don't know if you guys have noticed any other kind of like goofs and stuff in the movie or not. Have you guys noticed any like kind of goof moments like that in the movie that shouldn't really be there?
Yeah, the one I noticed, which I pointed out to you, was in that opening scene when the speaker blows and he gets pushed back. Firstly, it's so obviously a stuntman, and secondly, when he takes his glasses off and goes, "Whoa, rock and roll!" If you look at the reflection in the glasses, you can see the director, which is obviously Robert Zemeckis, and them holding the light panel up in the reflection of his sunglasses.
Really?
Oh wow. No.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Pete Shum has sent me a photo of this actually. Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, "Wow, what is that?"
The other one I've noticed, sorry to keep talking, but was the in the scene where Marty's telling George, "I didn't know you wrote science fiction. Get out of town," and all that. If you look at the kid in the background behind him, he's just staring at the camera.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't notice
Oh
that.
man, I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
For the first one, I ain't got none. No, I can't think of any.
Me either.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look up, see if I can find some though, because it must be a lot of goofs, you know.
Could be.
Yeah.
Gotta be. We've got UK Man saying I'll be sat next to you, Pete.
Yeah, I've just realised that's Matt.
Oh, okay. Hey, Matt.
You know Matt. He's another friend of mine.
Matt's a cool guy. And then we've got Tony Cortez saying, "What's up, everyone? Happy New Year from Bakersfield, California." So, hey, Tony. Hope you're well, man. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, we've got a question from Lego News here. He says, "So, if you had to do a story on Back to the Future 4, I would like to know from each one of you, what would you do for a story?"
Back to the Future 4.
Man.
That's a tough one now. If a kid traveled to this time, to the 80s, is it a biggest dip as like from the 80s to the 50s though? That's like it's like the 80s to the 50s, that's like a whole nother generational thing. We're close. I mean, we got the internet and things like that, but in the 80s we still had a lot of technologies that people can relate to now. It's different. So and I'm just thinking of the time travel aspect. What would the story be about? And would you even keep the same characters with Marty and Doc and all of those? You know, I don't know.
If they went back 30 years now, it would be 1994. Sorry.
Oh, 94?
Yeah.
Oh, 94? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
That's when the internet just came out. It's not too much of a difference.
No, exactly.
No cell phone.
We wouldn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
Everybody wouldn't have cell phones.
No Google. And
I know that Brad, I don't know if you guys know Brad Gilmore, who does a lot of, but he does a Back to the Future podcast, but he does a lot of stuff on ESPN. And on his podcast, he actually wrote an idea for Back to the Future 4, which was pretty cool. And it was set just after the time train and everything. And it was They were living in 1985, and Clara's trying to adjust to the modern world of 1985 rather than 1885. But Doc has sort of got obsessed with his science projects again and forgotten about his wife and kids. And apparently he disappears. Oh no, everything disappears around him, like Clara and the boys. And so he then goes and finds Marty, and they go off and try and change history so he can get them back. Something like that was what his idea was.
Okay.
Which I thought was quite good.
Pretty good.
That was the best one I'd heard. So, I mean, me and Mike have talked about maybe they should do like a Cobra Kai kind of thing. But the great thing with it is it's been left alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you have to follow Jules and Vern, whatever. Is that their names?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
They would be now in their 40s. I don't know how much time's passed, but we'd have to follow them as grown-ups, I guess. And I suppose Doc would be past. Well, I mean, Christopher is still alive. He's really old though. He's like in his upper 80s or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they would have to take over the train, I guess, and travel.
Yeah.
After that, I don't know. You can go anywhere at that point. They'd have to do something different that they haven't done before. So that's the interesting part. Where would they travel to? They could travel to the Jurassic period. They could travel to the medieval period. Who knows? I mean, so many possibilities. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys have played, I think it was mentioned earlier in the stream, if you guys have played the Telltale game of Back to the Future, it was released on, I think, PS3, Xbox, and maybe Nintendo Wii at the time, if I'm not mistaken. But that Telltale series game was all mainly focused on Doc, but as a teenager, and how he started to get, like, going into school, and how he started to, like, not go into school and focus more on science projects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was a whole, like, 4-episode arc, I think it was, about that story, and it was really well done. So I think maybe even like a prequel to like just around Doc would be cool. And like explore like him as like a teenager and take that Telltale Games concept. Because, you know, like we don't learn anything about Doc really as a teenager.
No.
About him as an adult. But obviously he was very clever at the time. So I don't know. Have you guys got any other ideas?
I like it. Just the 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, like it did when we start going to other ideas. It just makes it like I don't know. It's hard to do that movie. Like Cobra Kai is one thing because you got karate, but when you got time travel, it's really, you know what I'm saying, with the same basic character. I think it's just really hard to make something that people will watch. You know, I like the idea of Doc in college or whatever his young years. I'll definitely watch that. But like for it to sell, we need something. We need the time travel element somewhere in Back to the Future for it to work, but it's very hard with the characters now. I think it's just that time has passed and never remake it. Just make some cooler, lay it out, make something else.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see that being a TV series with Doc's kids and Michael J. Fox's kids getting together, and each episode you can travel to a different time period, and that would be actually pretty interesting as a TV show. Maybe.
Didn't they have a cartoon, right?
Yeah, they had a cartoon back in the day where they kind of did that, where they traveled to different periods of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched the cartoon. Did any of you guys watch it?
Yeah, I used to.
It was good. It was all right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember watching. I don't remember a lot of episodes from it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd be interested in what that story kind of did.
And then Big Kids would be messing everything up because the Tanners is the worst family ever to live in Hill Valley.
Right.
That family has terrorized that town for hundreds of years. Like,
I got it. Uncle Joe Bird Joey gets out and gets revenge on the Tannins. There you go.
Like a horror movie.
Yeah, John Wick style.
They would travel. They would travel to the medieval period, and Biff Tanner would have an ancestor that's like a terrible night killing people.
Yeah,
the are always
that was episode 1. That was episode 1.
I remember that.
Medieval, and it was a Biff Tannen.
Really?
Yeah.
It was
He's
hilarious.
always there.
Wow.
Madness. It would be the same as if they tried to remake it. I mean, they'd have to do a damn good job if they were going to remake it.
Yeah. I'm not saying it can be done, but like maybe we just shouldn't, you know?
Yeah.
I'm all about a remake, like I said, Ghostbusters, one of my favorite movies. When they did that 2016 one, I was like, okay, I'll never watch that again, but I still got the 1984 one, you know what I'm saying? I love that one. So,
Exactly.
I still got that one. So
Right.
do it. I
Yeah.
won't ruin my experience with the first one, but like that one's just lightning in a bottle to me.
I've had long discussions even with Mike about if they remake it. And there's only a few people, for instance, that could. I think the only person that could play Marty at the moment is Tom Holland. And the only people, in my opinion, that could play Doc would either be Eddie Murphy or Jim Carrey.
That'd be a good one.
Eddie Murphy's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I'll roll with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting if they were to make a fourth one down the line, if it would be like a continuation or like a remake.
Yeah.
Thoughts. Just to kind of add to the conversation, we've got Rob. He says, Back to the Future 4, Doc's son steals the time machine to correct the moral wrongs of history, but those wrongs lead to the existence of Doc Brown, so he has to go back and stop his son from doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Well, that could be cool.
That'd be good.
I like it.
Yeah, because you'd go and stop like Lincoln being assassinated or something,
Right. Yeah, I think that could be like a cool. I've never heard that theory before, but that could be cool. I'm on board for that. We've got Sir Woody on the van saying, personally, I wouldn't want any more done. Great story on the rap.
Yeah.
Starts to water the series down if you try and stretch it out further.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
Look at Star Wars.
I'd say Star Wars or Indiana Jones is another good example.
Yeah.
Where you can just kind of ruin it by making more.
Right.
Yeah. Star Wars really messed that one up.
Yeah.
Those movies, that Rise of Skywalker, woof. That was like everything.
Yeah.
Everything George Lucas didn't want, you turned into. Like, it was really bad. That's why I haven't been no more movies lately. You ain't heard nothing about a Star Wars movie.
Right.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
I also said that because I know Sir Woody, or Mark, his name is loves Star Wars.
I do too. But I didn't love those last movies.
That's true. It's true. We've got it's DG one that says, I think what the Back to the Future Part 4 happened on YouTube is a cool idea. I've seen bits and pieces of that video. Yeah, it seemed like a cool idea. Rob says, Q, what's that creepy face reflected in your monitor?
That's actually Star Wars. That's me as when I was reviewing Darth Vader. I mean, not Darth Vader, Obi-Wan show. I made this thumbnail. It's just me with my face inside of Darth Vader's helmet. I just photoshopped it. And just I thought it looked cool, and I lit my face with like this light here. Actually, and I just turned it on the red and just made that Photoshop for a thumbnail. And I don't know, it just looks kind of cool. So it is creepy, but I got a lot of creepier stuff back here. I'm a big horror fan too, by the way.
And if anyone's young enough not to know what a VHS is, they really were that big.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the actual VHS right there that goes in the machine. That's the actual one. Yeah. Marty back there too. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I can see him right there. Well, we've got Rob saying, you've never heard of that theory before because this glass of whiskey next to me just got white and juice is flowing.
Nice.
Cheers.
Nice. Cheers.
And Lego says, have you all seen the cutscenes from the Back to the Future game? Because that is a good example of a fourth movie.
No.
But there is a video which I'll post a link on in the comments on the stream, or someone explain how they would do a story of Back to the Future 4. All right, cool, man. Yeah, send that through. We'll have a look. So we're going to be pretty much wrapping up the stream very soon. But do you guys have anything else you want to talk about with regard to the first movie that we haven't covered so far?
Yeah, I have a question, especially for Mike and Pete.
Okay.
Being from England, I mean, watching Back to the Future, does it feel very American-oriented, or do you kind of get the references being from England?
Good question.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I think like some of the references and stuff I don't get to an extent. So especially in like part two, knowing about like the Cubs winning the World Series, I think.
Uh-huh.
I know that's like, is that to do with like baseball?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think they ever won ever.
Cubs never win.
See,
Yeah, they're just terrible.
I was
They
quite
did win, though, right?
Yeah, I was quite fortunate. I'm a baseball fan, so I got that. Because basically it was Cubs. They said Cubs would win the World Series. They got to the final of the playoffs, I think, that year in the end, so they were close. But they won it the year after. But the weird thing is, what it was, if you listen to what Marty says, is he goes, no, it wasn't about Cubbies. He says it's about Miami. And then the other guy cuts him off. And it's because at the time there wasn't a franchise of baseball in Miami.
Okay.
And there is now. And and then the Cubbies actually won the World Series in 2016, I believe, against Miami.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Really weird.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
For me personally, the only thing I didn't get at the time, I do nowadays, was he said, oh, can I have a tab or can I have a Pepsi free? Because in the UK, we called it Diet Pepsi. And Tab Cola didn't exist in the UK until the mid-90s. So didn't get those references. But I don't know what else about yourself, Mike, didn't get.
Funny thing, none of those exist now. Pepsi free or Tab. I don't think we have that. You know, I think we got Diet Pepsi, but no more Pepsi free. That was definitely in the 80s in Tab.
Was Pepsi free just like a Diet Pepsi with sugar?
I believe so. I believe that's before they started calling it Diet Pepsi or something like that.
Yeah.
If I can remember, but I know it was called Pepsi free, and somewhere down the road it turned to Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure when, but Tab was a cola too, but I don't think it exists anymore either.
It was a clear cola, wasn't it?
Oh well, what the Tab?
Yeah.
Tab was dark. It was like cola. I remember, but I think I don't know. It might have been a clear version of it. The ones we had, it was just it was like it tastes just like Coke, but not as good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like he does make a reference to Ronald Reagan, who was the president of the United States in the 80s.
Yeah.
Who was an actor back in the 50s or 40s or something like that. That was kind of
I probably didn't get that as a kid, but I definitely get it as I got older.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And how about the whole dance at the end? Does that resemble anything that happens in England? Like a big school dance that has like a theme to it?
Not when I was a child, but I mean, Mike's younger than me. But nowadays they do proms and stuff, don't they, over here?
Do they?
Like over here, right. Like they do prom for like school kids in like the last year of school. They'll have like a prom at the end of the end of the year. But I remember like going to prom and it was nothing like that.
I was gonna say I've never had a live band before. It's just a DJ playing music.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that'd be cool to have a live band singing.
Right. Yeah,
I never had a prom.
Yeah, we had a DJ playing Go Grease Lightning, I remember.
The Grease Mega Mix.
The Grease Mega Mix, yeah.
I didn't even know what the dance was in the movie. They called it the Enchantment at the Sea, but
Under the Sea Dance.
I don't know if it was a prom or it was just a normal dance that they do at the end of the year. Or...
Yeah.
It looked like prom because you dress up for prom.
We used to have like a Christmas disco. What was it? Where you dance left to right. Like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just did that.
The funny thing is, just like Jason and Q know as well. In March this year, Pete's actually doing a dance competition, and he's doing a dance to Back to the Future, right?
No, we're doing the Enchantment Under the Sea dance scene, and we're doing basically there's a local cancer hospice near me where people at the end of get their end of life care. And sadly, a friend of mine passed away a few years ago, and they've done it for a few years, and they've asked me for a few years if I'd do it, and I said no. And they asked me again this year, and I said no, I'm not interested. And then they said, okay, here's the deal: you can do it dressed as Marty McFly at Enchantment Under the Sea dance, and you can do a jive and do it to Johnny Be Good. And I just went, damn it. So we are mid rehearsal at the moment. We're doing it in March, and all funds for the cancer hospice. But we've done a rehearsal the other night. We're getting there. I don't know if you can see this. Let's just turn it. Let's just press play. We're getting there.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Getting it.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, that's kind of
We're getting
fancy.
there.
Yeah, all right.
But yeah, we got a long way to go. I'm trying to find the zoot suit with the Enchantment Under the Sea Dance banner, the lot, and the guitar. So
That's
just ask Fernando, Pete. He's got a guitar.
I don't think he's going to let me throw his guitar signed by the entire cast across the stage.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. The dance, Pete. Is that going to be available online to watch?
No, basically it's a local thing, but they will video it, and then what I plan is that there's a couple of Facebook groups that I'm joined to. Is I'll do a live video call and show everybody the film of it a couple of weeks after they release it, and then watch it all together for the people who can't come. So
that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Good call.
But it's a good it's just for a great cause. So
yeah, man, that's fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I can come to it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so anyway, dude. I'm hoping so.
But you got a long trip down, so I get it.
Yeah, so when I went to see Pete last year, it took like 7 hours.
Oh, wow.
Like 2 or 3 trains just to get there.
Oh, wow.
So it's a long distance.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to go back to your question very quickly, Jason, about like, did we get the reference and stuff? I think like more that we're like grown older, like what Pete said. Because at the time I was like, I don't know who Ronald Reagan is.
Right.
And that kind of stuff. And then now I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, okay, I know who Ronald Reagan is. So I'll get the joke. Or like, where he's like, I think Doc's like one point, he's like, Jerry Lewis and stuff like that. Like that. Yeah, but at the time I was like, I don't get that, you know?
Yeah.
Or like even in part 3 when I first saw it, I was like, who's Clint Eastwood, you know?
You're right. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. So we've got, I don't know, it depends. We've got Adam also, by the way, saying, hey guys, awesome that Jason now co-host, hope you're all well. So hey Adam.
I'm moving up in the world.
We've got Sir Woody saying, correct, the sequels of Star Wars are possibly the worst storytelling movies of all time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, the new sequels or not Empire and Jedi. I mean, I know those are good ones.
I think he probably means the first 3, 1, 2, and 3 episodes. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, if I know him well enough.
Okay.
Because I had never watched Star Wars until when COVID happened, and just after lockdown. My other half ended up getting COVID as we had to isolate, and so I said, right, I'm going to sit and watch Star Wars. And Mark said to me, just don't bother with 1, 2, and 3. And after I watched them, I went, damn, I wish I'd listened.
Hey, the better than the 7, 8, 9.
That's what I say. They are.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, those are. Whew.
Yeah, those are real
Force
bad.
Awakens okay. Last Jedi, Return of Skywalker, the worst of them all to me. The Rise of Skywalker, it's terrible.
But saying that there's going to be a kind of a Back to the Future Star Wars crossover, because I believe Christopher Lloyd's in the Mandalorian's new series.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Christopher Lloyd's in Mandalorian.
The new one that's coming. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Okay.
He's got to have a line where he's like, "This is heavy, guys."
Great.
Yeah.
Rock up in a DeLorean for the Mandalorian.
Right.
The DeLorean.
Very nice.
And DeLorean.
That'd be awesome.
It writes itself, Pete.
I know. Well, genius.
Pete should be on the Disney property right now, writing scripts.
I have an idea.
We got Rob saying Tab is the dollar store version of RC Cole, which is Big Lots version of Coke. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trash.
Let's what are you saying, Pete? I know you're old and probably forgot, but there was a prom at the end of school year after year 13. Nothing like an American prom, but an lame English version.
Okay, don't forget that. But I do remember Mark is actually a year below me at school, and his year was the first year to get a prom, and we didn't get one. So I was the last year before there was one. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You missed out. I mean, Jason and Q, did you guys have prom at school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We have a prom.
And was it like the Entrapment Under the Sea kind of vibe?
A little bit. Like, we didn't have live bands or anything, but we did dress up. Like, get your tuxedo. You got to go over there, the parents' house, take the pictures, corsage. Yeah. Go out to Red Lobster or something.
Yeah.
Did either of you go for the blue tux with the frilly?
Oh, man. I wish.
Like that.
Actually, mine was turquoise, blue with the black. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
Man, that's cool. Well, we've got Adam saying, I'm going to have to do my own live streams with a co-host. Live streaming inspired me. Well, yeah, awesome, man. Glad to hear.
Oh, that's dope, Jim.
Lego saying, great stream, guys. Have a great day. So, yeah, thanks, Lego, for tuning in.
Peace out, Lego.
Episode 79, I actually like the prequels.
Oh, okay. My bad.
So I think that's going to pretty much wrap us up, unless you guys have got any other topics or questions you want to ask about the first movie that I've missed out.
The one thing I was going to say is we all said about what's our favourite scene. Surely everybody's favourite scene is when that DeLorean first comes off that truck and comes down for the very first time.
Yeah.
It's just so iconic.
The sound and everything is just like...
Yeah. But there's still the added question, how did Doc get in the damn thing?
He's a big guy.
That is very true, because like a lot of people struggle to put them cars in them vans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great scene, the DeLorean reveal. Yeah, like the music again, it's like the music just amplifies a little bit,
Yeah.
Sylvester's score. So yeah, we've also got Rob said, I went to prom, dinner before, 6 in the parking lot. Very good day.
Nice.
Rob had a wild time.
Yeah. I wasn't my experience, but
nah, same here. I think mine was just in like a football stadium's kind of conference room, and cheesy dancing went home. That was mine.
Yeah, the dancing wasn't quite as good. None of us were professional dancers.
Nah. So pretty much we're going to be wrapping up. So I just first wanted to say thank you to Pete for joining me. Thank you to Jason for being my co-host on the stream and going forward. And also thanks to Q Reviews as well for being part of this. Before we go, I want to just take around to each one of you guys. So Pete, I've left all the guys' links below to their YouTube channels, but also to Pete for his business of Handyman Hardy. So yeah, Pete, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about your business and where they can get tickets for this dance that you've got coming up in March?
Yeah, so Mike's obviously going to put the links up. I just run a handyman business local to where I live here, as well as an aerial business, TV aerial business. Check the links out. It's handymanhardy.com and dorseteraerials.co.uk. But more importantly, yes, the dance show. If I'll send Mike a link and he can put it in the post. But if you're in this area, it's a bit of a trek for Q and Jason, obviously.
I was going to say, Kansas.
But
yeah, we got a ways to go.
It doesn't make New York look so bad now for the musical, does it?
No.
But no, if anyone can come, great. But if not, the more importantly, there'll be a link for you to be able to donate towards our local cancer hospice, which it costs them £40,000 to £50,000 a week to stay open, and the UK government donate 10% of that to them, and the rest is all through public donations. So this is why we're doing this, to raise money. So if anybody wants to donate, that'll be wonderful. But other than that, I hope to be on another live stream soon, and maybe I'll come back after the dance show and show you and tell you all about it. But Q and Jason, lovely to meet you. I followed both of you on YouTube and subscribed, and I hope to stay in touch with you guys as well. Mike, yeah, you're there. But no, I hope to stay in touch with you guys as well. So
yeah, man, pleasure having you. And you're definitely going to be on more streams, Pete. I know you're a huge nut as well, so perfect person to get on as well. So Pete's links are down below in the description. After the stream, I'll put the link in for the charity where you can donate if you are able to. Q, what have you got coming up on your channel? And if you want to tell everyone a little bit about your channel.
Oh yeah, who don't know me out there, I'm Q Reviews. Just got my YouTube channel back from being hacked around 3 weeks ago. You know all about that. So just got it back. Start making some more content. Working on a review for a documentary called Jurassic Punk, based on this dude named Stephen Williams, who created the Jurassic Park CG dinosaurs when ILM didn't want him to do it. He just kind of did it anyway and did his own thing, and it changed movie making history forever. But it's a documentary about him, and his life goes down a very kind of dark turn. He becomes like an alcoholic, and then no one will hire him because he was such a kind of hothead, burned bridges with ILM and stuff. But it's just like crazy to me. Like, this dude made Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park dinosaurs, and like he couldn't get a job. So like it's a really good documentary called Jurassic Punk. And other than that, I'll probably be seeing Megan next week, see her do her little dance, the little creepy doll, and other than that, whatever content that comes up.
Sweet, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your videos coming up, because I know you had an issue with the hack in which we don't need to go over too much here.
No, I got it back.
But I'm glad you got it back, brother. And that Jurassic Punk, I saw the poster for it. It looked really interesting, to be honest. It's
pretty good. Yeah, it's real good. Yeah, like it gets really into the industry. And of course, we're talking about Blockbuster Video and VHS, and so like we're going all down that road. You know what I'm saying? Seeing all the promotion, because this guy just created something that has never been on film before. It was first done in the Abyss, and then Cameron used them for Terminator 2, and then they were going to use stop motion animation for Jurassic Park. The stop motion animation style, and this dude just did it. He just like, okay, I can. Why don't we just build a T-Rex in a computer? And he did it. And the rest is history. Wow. Then after Jurassic Park, everybody had CG in their film. It was a abundance of like almost an overload. So it's an interesting story.
I'm gonna have a little look, man. Yeah, thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, check it out.
So Q's links down below in the description box. So keep an eye out for his upcoming video, Jurassic Punk. I'll be tuning in, man, and checking that out. And Jason, if you want to tell everyone a little bit about your channel and what you've got coming up.
Yeah, my channel, Jason Old Millennial, talk about movies and also about music. Go over things like my favorite albums, and a big Beatles fan, so I do a lot of stuff about the Beatles on there as well. And then a lot of rankings and lists about just about everything. This last week, I covered like my favorite performances of the year and the movies, and also did a live stream last Saturday. I guess was that yesterday? What's today? Say Sunday.
Sunday.
I did a live stream yesterday covering my top 10 and worst 10 movies of the year. And I'm planning on doing a similar one this next week, but putting it on TV shows, my favorite and least favorite.
Nice.
Yeah, hey, dude, that sounds awesome. And I was able to tune in your live stream a little bit. And so the link to Jason's channel's down below in the description box. Before we go, both guys got great channels, and Pete's got fantastic business. One thing I actually want to ask from Pete and Q is, because I actually haven't heard their opinions on this as far as I'm aware, is because I know Jason's. Pete and Q, what is your favorite movie of 2022, and what's your least favorite movie of 2022?
Ooh,
okay, who want to go first on that
one?
Because Pete doesn't do YouTube, so obviously Pete doesn't cover videos or anything, so that's why I'm interested in both of you guys' opinions.
I'm going to have to Google movies of 2022 to remind myself.
Okay. I can go then.
Yeah, you go. Go.
All right. Yeah, my camera might go out, my battery slow, so I might have to run and get one if it go out. But I'll just start off. You want me to start off with my favorite one?
Sure, yeah.
My favorite movie of 2022 is Top Gun Maverick. They just don't make films like that no more. The aerial combat that I seen in that film was actually, you know, done practical. So they had the cameras on the plane following these planes. So these actors are literally up there being flown by real Top Gun Mavericks as long as they can take the G-force. So like that, I'm just like, I have never seen nothing like that done to that level. And then Tom Cruise, being the movie star he is, he just nails it home. He's the reason why the movie industry came back to life this year with $2.something billion. That a movie about, it's Back to the Future. Let's say if I went back to the year 1998 and I told you in the year 2022, Top Gun is going to be the biggest movie of that year. Like, you mean like the dudes with the volleyball sweating? Yeah, right. And like, I swear that movie just did it. It's engaging, it's well paced from beginning to end, and I never get bored. So yeah, that was Top Gun Maverick. Just like, you know, and I felt great at the end of it. And I showed my dad that, and he was like, "Boy, that was a good ass movie. That movie was good." You know, every time I show somebody, you know what I'm saying, they're blown away by it. So yeah, that's my top film of the year. I would say one of my worst films, just as off the top of my head, I probably worst out there, but that Pinocchio on Disney with Tom Hanks in it. Oh my God. The movie's bad anyway. The movie's just bad. You know, they try to do the retake of the Pinocchio, but what makes it really bad is they changed the whole message at the end for no reason, you know? Yeah. I'm not going to spoil it when I'm seeing it. Like, I thought this whole time the reason was for him to become a real boy, and then in the movie they say something like, in his mind he's a real boy. Like, no, he's supposed to be a real boy, or he's supposed to be, you know, Pinocchio. It was so bad. It was so frustrating. Tom Hanks' accent is terrible in it. Yes, Pinocchio's trash.
Well, I know Jason likes that movie, right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's number 7 on my list, I think.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Number 8, I think, on my list of top 10 favorite movies of the year.
Damn, no, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Everybody hates that movie. I'm the only one that likes it.
And that one just wasn't for me. Yeah, so it's good. Yeah. I'm glad you like it. No offense, man. Don't be mad at me.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, right? It's like I haven't seen that movie yet, so I'm in like two sides of the fence like all the time. I mean, like, oh wow, this movie's trash, or actually this movie's actually pretty good. Pete, have you seen that Pinocchio movie?
Yes, it's terrible. But it could have been so much. Sorry, Jason.
It's okay.
I'm the only one who likes it. I don't know what it...
No, I think for me though, Top Gun was gonna be one of my answers, but I think for me actually it was a close call, but Top Gun's up there, if not the best, but I can't steal that from Q. So it was a tough call between the Batman or actually Elvis.
Wow,
the Elvis movie. I thought was okay. It wasn't completely accurate at the end, but then neither was Bohemian Rhapsody. But it was a fantastic film. For me, the worst film for me this year, probably Moonfall, because that could have been so much better than it was. And it just, I watched it and I sat there and went, well, there's 2 hours of my life gone. I was so excited for it, and it was just terrible at the end.
Oh,
man. Right back. Can you get my back?
Yeah, man. It's that Moonfall. I don't get this fancy twist they're trying to go for at the end of the movie.
I thought it was a clever twist, but it could have been done so much better.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, like Top Gun Maverick, I know Jason wasn't too huge on the movie either, right?
It was okay. I'm not totally crazy about it, but...
What about Elvis? What did you think of Elvis?
I didn't like that movie.
We were discussing this today as a family. Obviously, they've got the new Whitney movie out, so they've done Bohemian, they've done Freddie Mercury, they've done Elton John, they've done Whitney now, and they've done Elvis.
Aretha Franklin.
What else are they going to do? I mean, the biggest one they've got to do, but it'll be really hard to get someone to look exactly like him, is Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's almost impossible.
Yeah. So, but that would be a great movie if it was done right.
The thing is though with the Michael Jackson, right, is they have so many like people that do like are like arena shows of like impersonators.
Mm-hmm.
So they could probably get like a really good impersonator to do like the acting side. Like
They
towards
did that. They did one. They did one recently called "Leaving Neverland" or something like that. Not the
Documentary, yeah.
not the documentary, but they
right.
did another
Dirty
one.
documentary.
Done one very similar to called "Leaving Neverland," but it was a movie about Michael Jackson, and I can't think of the guy's name who's the world #1 impersonator. He plays him.
Huh.
Terrible. Because Jason, you might, if you ever do a special, you might. I'm a big fan. So there's my program from the tour in the UK.
Oh, very, very nice. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, Pete's a huge Michael Jackson fan.
Yeah, I like Michael Jackson too. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think a biopic on him would be pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like biopics, I'm intrigued to see like what they're going to do next because I haven't seen that Whitney Houston one yet.
No,
I haven't seen that one either.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, it's good to hear your guys' opinions on your favorite and worst movies because I didn't know about them. Because I knew my list, obviously, I knew Jason's list as well, but I knew like from Q and Pete. Obviously, no, Q, I know you're on Cinematics stream, right?
Yeah, I think we talked top 10 in there. Yeah.
Yep. The video, I was at work.
Yeah, I was gonna make one. Top 10 list here, but I might still make one. Yeah, top 10. I know Fresh was on both of our top 10 with that horror movie we're talking about. It was like, yeah. I love that.
Fresh is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend that one. So we're going to wrap it up here. So again, I just want to take a quick moment just to thank Pete for joining me, co-host Jason, and also Q Reviews.
Thank you so much,
dude. Thanks guys for taking the time, and until next time, we will see you later. So see you everyone.
Bye.
Peace.